Leo, how are you? Let's do a reading for your current energy, shall we? As always, please take what works, leave what doesn't. We all know who we are in the story. Now, I sure appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And if you appreciate what I do here, help me out. Hit that like button. Blink right there. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really makes a difference to my channel. And I would love to see my channel continue to grow. So help me make that happen. All right, but let's take a look at what's going on in a situation with all of my Leos. Now, I wonder whether or not there's some work issues coming up this week, all right? We have all of these people, I feel like they're around the water cooler, just spreading a lot of gossip, just starting rumors. I'm just sensing that there's a lot of kind of discord around a group of people, who have a lot to say about other people, all right? So, be careful of that because, people who are busy talking about other people will be talking about you as well. All right, so there could be some rumors being spread about you, people talking about you. Just be aware of that, all right? Now, we do have you showing up in a position of defending yourself, so yeah, maybe something's going on and you're needing to really kind of stand up and, say, hey, that's not really what's going on. This is the truth of the matter. You are above these other people that are pointing fingers at you. So again, if you are feeling as if, there is a lot of talk going on around you, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, all right? I really believe it's important that we hold our ground. And, this week, I think it really needs to, be said when it comes to your situation. Now, we do have the Justice card and the Eight of Cups coming in together, so, there's a balance that needs to happen. Something has not been fair, all right? Maybe this is a situation that's going on in your workplace that, you just feel like something's just not right. There has been arguing and fighting. Again, I'm feeling like, something has blown up in the workplace. And I say that because we do have the Eight of Pentacles here above you, so there could be this situation that's brewing that, it could have been ongoing is what I'm feeling. I'm just sensing that things aren't getting better. If anything, they could be getting worse. And you're starting to realize that, maybe it's time to go. When you get up in the morning and you're just not happy, having to get ready and go to a place that you just dread. And I feel like this is where you're at. You're almost like dreading this energy that of you having to go to work and deal with these people. All right. It doesn't mean that you don't like the job you're doing. It means that the people you are working with, I think there is some discord. And like I said, I sense some kind of arguing here. We have these two cats fighting over here. And then we have the law of like what's right and what we should do and what we shouldn't do. And I just feel like I said, it has been ongoing, especially with these Eight of Cups over here. It's like you've tried to make it work. You've tried to give it your chance, but it's just not happening. So at the base of what's going on, we have the Judgment card, and it is reversed. I think you have tried to fix things, all right? When we have the Judgment card, we try to rise up and rise above the situation. But, I don't think there's any good that's coming out of anything. And, here with the Wheel of Fortune in your near future, you're almost like, things aren't going to change. This is it. This is how it's going to be. And maybe it's time for me to move on. Whether you actually do or you're thinking about it, we do have the Six of Swords here, all right? When we have the Six of Swords energy, we could be thinking about like, maybe it is time to go. Maybe it is time to walk away from a place that, isn't happy. It's not making me feel good. Maybe there's something better for me out there. And when we have the Six of Swords energy, we want to go in a direction that is more in line with us. You want to get up in the morning, you want to look forward to going to your job. You want to get up in the morning, you want to look forward to doing whatever it is you're going to do. And the fact that you've had to defend yourself, you've had to really stand up for yourself. Every day is like a challenge. This is when we start to say, maybe this isn't for me. All right. Now, we also have the Two of Wands coming in here. All right. So again, a need to make a decision. You can stay where you are, but, those people are also going to stay where you are. And, the situation, like I said, is going to continue. And you have tried to make it work. Here you are, with these cups saying, I love what I do, but I don't know whether I love the situation that I'm involved in. I don't like the environment. And here with this Two of Wands, maybe you need to start to explore other options. Because again, Three of Cups coming in upside down, you're not happy. You're not happy with the people you're working with the environment, with the situation. I just feel like you're over it. And it's just like you're better than this. And you're very good at what you do, right? You could open up your own shop. Why am I working for someone else and going through all of this when I can do it myself? So I do feel like there's a lot of thought around with your workplace, around what it is that you are doing. And, you don't want to have to justify your actions. You do a good job. You know what you're doing. You're good at your work. And all these people talking about you isn't helping. All right. It's always really uncomfortable to walk into a room and all of a sudden it gets dead silent because you showed up, because they're talking about you, right? They said something. And I feel like that's how this week is going to be. Let's look at the base of what's going on. We got the Knight of Swords, all right? The Knight of Swords says, I'm going to go after what it is I need. I'm not happy here. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to get myself out there. And I do get the sense of you having to really defend yourself, all right, and stand up for what is right and your position. And, like I said, you shouldn't have to justify what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You're good at your work. And it's just like all these other circumstances that seem to be filling this pot and it's all boiling over, right? So yeah, this week, I just feel like you, Leo, really need to step back and say, maybe it is time. Maybe, this isn't worth, trying to make it work. Maybe, it's time to really walk away from this situation and, feel good about yourself again. And since you are thinking about it and you're at this point of making a decision, maybe it is time to just start looking to see what else is out there, because, you're not going to last. I mean, really, and sometimes we need to leave while we're still, in a position where we're looking good. We're going to get a good referral, and you can actually find something that will really suit you much better. But yeah, just be careful of the talk. Be careful of all of the gossip, and just know that, you are standing in your own and, you've got your own point of view and it is your point of view and it is right. And people can say what they want to say. You're going to move on. All right. So that's what I've got for you, Leo. Please take what works, leave what doesn't. We all know who we are in the story. I sure appreciate each and every one of you. And if you appreciate what I do here, hit that like button, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you at another reading. Until then, be happy, be healthy, be kind. Bye now.